So welcome to our fourth
video.
Oh my goodness.
Fourth
Woo!
video.
Time just flies when you're having
Inclusion
fun.
done right. I know, it's so much fun. I was a little sad that we had to cancel yesterday, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Today's better.
Scheduling sometimes gets in the way, you know, life gets in the way. So here we are, we get it through, we get it done and get to have a good conversation this week at least. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
So I want to start first by explaining
I was going to say, you guys have a great week. This is one of my favorite weeks.
So yeah, I'm not dressed this way because I'm painting, but this is our spirit week at Coyote Springs this week. And so today was dress as your favorite literary character. And one of my absolute favorite book series reading when I was a child was Ramona.
I knew it. I knew it. That was mine too.
Oh,
that's why we like each other so much.
Loved that
Ramona
series.
the Pest,
Yep,
Jesus and Ramona.
Yep. Ramona and the Risby, the dog. So we had to have, our therapy dog that was involved today too. So it was kind of fun getting to talk to some of the kids because some of them knew and some of them didn't. So I was able to give them, some of them, some real interest in, like, you need to read this series because it's really good.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. So hence the outfit.
Yay. Hence I don't look like a mom today. I was thinking, I have put a lot of makeup on lately. I usually don't put makeup on that much during the week.
Yeah.
But I've had so many meetings and I wear makeup for you guys. I'm just
nice. Although it is nice on those weekends where you can just not do any of it, right?
Right, but then I have church on Sundays and sometimes
yeah.
I have sharing Down syndrome events and so it's okay. It's all
You
good.
look good though. It's important.
Yes, it is.
It's always good.
It is.
So lots of fun things for our topics of conversations today. Talking a little bit about, again, I think diving a little bit deeper into your family and what have kind of brought you to this point, and then talking about really all the outside support services that it takes. And I kind of go back to the saying, it takes a village.
Right.
It's not just about one entity or a parent or a school. It's about the entire village coming together to support the kids, right?
Totally.
So some more, we'll dive in a little bit more about
my family and where I'm at. So like you guys all know, I have 7 children. My oldest is 22. My youngest is 6. My first 2 children are biological. One looks like my husband. One looks like me. And then we decided to get into foster care, and we just had a heart for kids, and we were going to just honestly, our plan was just to love kids and cry when they left. We weren't gonna. We were happy, with the 2 kids that we had, and we just felt like we could do something for kids in need, and so we took our time going through the process, and because we had Eric and Emily, they were 9 and 11 when we got the next kids, and so then we got Angel and Allie, and they were 2 and 5 when we got them, and we adopted them. That was in January of 2006. We adopted them November of 2006.
Oh, wow.
And then that following February 2007, Joe was born. And he's their half-brother. And I woke up one morning and didn't know that I was going to have a newborn at home that night. The farthest thing from my mind. And 5:30 that night in the church parking lot, I always tell them, you were delivered in the church parking lot. The CPS, the Child Protective Storks, is what we delivered you in the church parking lot.
That.
But he was 5 days old, and I had my last newborn was Emily, who was now 9 or 10, and so I had a cradle that my husband's father made. It's beautiful. And so we had that for him, but nothing else. And then 5 days old, you can't take into a church service or into a nursery or anything. And so I sat in the church office, and my friend, so amazingly sweet, my friend Sarah, came in with 5 bags from Target.
Oh, wow.
Full of stuff, and it was like a baby shower. I was having a little baby shower right there. So that was cool. So that was just a there's a lot more to that story. But anyways, we got a lot to talk about today.
Well, and I think it's cool, just to, not to interrupt, but that the whole fostering program, you know, I know because we see so much need in the schools with these kiddos, unfortunately, that are, you know, growing up in environments that aren't healthy environments.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of the reality of our world currently. And so the importance of having people like you who are truly vested in that fostering system is huge.
Yeah.
And we need fostering parents.
Yes.
Like, you know, Cindy and her family that are willing to open their house and provide that caring environment. And I tell you, I hear it time and time again too from, you know, our fostering. They fall in love with them.
Yeah, you do. And we within 2 weeks we were asking Eric and Emily if they wanted a little brother and sister, and they're like, yeah. And so the whole process started. And so we and after we adopted them, we weren't looking for another kid. We doubled our kids, right? And so then we got another kid, and then 11 months later, I was 41. I woke up in the morning and I heard a voice saying, "You are pregnant," and I laughed because I was like, that's idiotic. Why would I?
No way.
No way. But then I started thinking. So a week later, I took a test and ta-da, pregnant. And that's a whole other story. You'll need to go to nevereasyalwaysgood.com and look for Jillian's story because that was a whole other story. But that was Jillian, and Jillian was born that August with Down syndrome. We knew ahead of time she would be born with Down syndrome, and we celebrated it.
Yes.
So
good for you.
So because and honestly, I had enough typical children to.
She was ready for a challenge, right?
You know what? And she's not the challenge. But I was ready for something different. I was talking to Mr. K earlier, and I'm like, I need different things going on around me. I can't do the same thing over and over. Mm-hmm. So that's why I have all these kids. So then we had Jillian, and we were fine at 5 kids. We were fine at 6 kids, and then 3 years ago, when did I make that? 2006. Ben was born in 2012. We got him when he was 3. And he popped up on the radar, and foster care and Down syndrome, and
that's it. Yep.
And so I am worried
Make that
connection. I'm gonna check.
I think that's mine.
Is that your phone? Okay, good. Never mind. Then I'm not. So this is now real life because I don't know how to edit this out. So.
Hey.
We're all good. So good. That was your phone. Anyways, so we got Ben and adopted him, and that sent us on this. Well, we're on the road ahead of time.
Journey. This amazing journey, and it's so. I mean, from that process into moving into now, how you have impacted an education system, a community, and really just started this push of supporting the students, supporting the parents, making sure that everything that we can provide and that we need to provide is starting to happen. And we're having those conversations more and more and more. And I know one of the things that kind of you spearheaded, one of many that you've spearheaded is C.A.P.E. And maybe talk a little bit about, like, because I'm kind of curious, how did that even come into development?
So okay, I'll be really bluntly honest. This is not the blunt part. I actually went through an advocacy training program called Partners in Leadership, and it was sponsored by Pilot Parents of Southern Arizona, and they're based in Tucson, but the program was in Phoenix. Okay. And I went. I had people telling me a lot that I should go do this. A couple parents up here that had done it, and granted, I had 6 children at home, and as much as we need foster parents, fostering, if you guys know foster families, love them. Yeah. Because it's not easy, because the kids aren't easy, because the kids have had really rough lives. Right. And so there's a reason why they're in foster care. So I got to a point where I needed a break. I needed time for me, and there's this program, free hotel, free food, and wine at night.
Well, hey, sign us up, right? And it's you, just
and it was
you.
just me,
Yeah.
and they paid for my gas. We didn't have a lot of money because I can't work, and so they paid for my gas down. They paid for my hotel. They paid for my food, and I learned stuff. And the learning stuff was honestly was secondary, but my need got me in there, and because of that, I started seeing a need, and seeing a need in my community.
Yep.
And one of the things that I saw was the IEP process. I usually have really good IEPs, and I have a few kiddos that have IEPs, and that's an individual education plan. For those of you guys that don't know, but I would talk to many parents that would be like bashing heads with the teachers, and I didn't understand that, and with the educators, I didn't understand how that was all happening. So my idea was, and I spoke to our principal at the time, Ms. Bindell, about getting some kind of parent group together to help elevate our parents' knowledge, because when you have children like mine, you're thrown into a lifestyle that is very unexpected and that you didn't go to school for, and you have to learn everything. Thank God for the internet, because for the most part, because you can learn a lot on there. But you go to IEPs and meetings and stuff, and you hear all of these words, and you get all of these with all the letters, acronyms, and all those kind of, and you don't want to sound stupid, so you go home and you Google things. What does that mean?
And they can be very intimidating,
right?
Because as a parent, you walk into a room and there could be 7, 8, 9 type of educators or providers of services in a room, and then there's you.
Yeah.
And so I know for parents that can be a very intimidating process. And so to be able to give parents some strategies and skills to come into, and like we talked about earlier, building their confidence. So they just know what to expect, what questions to ask.
Right.
So we can have that collaborative discussion.
And they can feel supportive, because you're already on the defense, because you're already having to fight for your kids. I didn't have this so much because Jillian was child number 6. I knew not to compare kids to other kids, but it's hard not to look at your child with Down syndrome and see how delayed they are compared to kids that are their age. So it's a very emotional thing, because they're talking about a part of you, and you have to talk about the hard parts.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And so
it's about the strengths, but you also have to address what are those areas that we want to see growth in.
Right.
And what are sometimes, the concerns that come up. And it can be, as much as we always try to keep it as positive as possible, we don't want it to turn to that negative realm. And I think that's where it's super important for parents to be able to understand that we have to talk about those things.
Right.
Because it's reality, and we want to come up with success plans to support them. It's not about attacking. It's about a collaborative process to support, which is, I think, crucial.
Yeah.
So C.A.P.E now is...
So C.A.P.E now, what happened with that is I was just thinking it was going to be a school thing, and it turned into a district thing. And actually at one point, and actually it's probably going to turn into an intra-district thing. I kind of like taking things slow, so we make sure we're successful, and then move on. But I know families in other districts that need what we're providing for our families. And so and C.A.P.E, again, it stands for communicate, advocate, participate, and educate. And we bring our families in. One thing, actually, when Patty Bitzilli, our Director of Special Services, was talking to me about this, I told her that there's 2 things that keep families from going to these after-school educational opportunities, and that is dinner and childcare. And I said, so how about we feed the families and we give them childcare? I thought she was going to say, oh, no, what? She goes, okay. And I went, okay, then let's do it. And the district has been very kind to us, and they are providing the food, and they're paying for the childcare,
Awesome.
and they want me to run it, so I'm not under the district's thumb.
Yeah.
I'm just a mom.
Yeah.
Um,
You're not just a
I know,
mom, but you're a
but
mom
I'm not,
who's
yeah.
able to advocate and run the program
Right.
outside of the limits of districts.
Right,
Yeah.
and I want that freedom, and that's super
Mhm.
important for me to
Yeah.
be able to advocate for families. And if I
Absolutely.
don't agree with something that's going on, I need to have that freedom
Right.
to say I don't agree.
Mhm.
So
Yep, I think that's fantastic. So I have to share a couple of successes
Okay.
that we've had as we keep
Uh-huh.
going through the process. And I know we're only on Inclusion Done Right, take 4.
four.